Good morning, students. See, in the previous class, we have discussed Bohr's model of atom, is it not? Postulates of Bohr's theory and application of the Bohr's theory to explain the emission line spectrum of hydrogen. So now, I have derived some equations, if you have not forgotten. So one equation, look here, mu bar is equal to 1.097 into 10 raised to 7 1 by n1 square minus 1 by n2 square. This is an equation to calculate the wave number. What is wave number? The reciprocal wavelength. And energy equation also is there. That is En is equal to minus 2.18 into 10 raised to minus 18 Z square. For hydrogen it is 1 square by n square. So these are the two equations I told you. So particularly based on this equation, problems are going to be asked. So one problem I will write. You write this problem. Simple problem it is. What is the frequency and wavelength? What is the frequency and wavelength of a photon emitted during electron transition from n equal to 5 state to n equal to 2 state in hydrogen atom. So this is the question. So how to work out this? Based on that equation, you have to work out. Look at it. Look at the question. What is the frequency and wavelength of a photon emitted during the electron transition from n equal to 5 to n equal to 2? It is Balmer series. Do you agree? Because n1 is 2 and n2 is 5. Which line in the Balmer series? Look here, students. First line 3 to 2. Second line 4 to 2. Third line 5 to 2. So this is third line in the Balmer series of hydrogen spectrum. So I will solve the problem. Look here. Lambda 1 by lambda you want, is it not? Because wavelength you want. 1 by lambda is equal to 1.097 into 10 raised to 7 1 by n1 square minus 1 by n2 square. Do you agree? Now, you substitute the values 1.097 into 10 raised to 7 1 by 2 square minus 1 by 5 square. Okay. 1 by lambda is equal to 1.097 into 10 raised to 7 1 by 4 minus 1 by 25. Is this correct? So take LCM 1.097 into 10 raised to 7. So it is 100 is the LCM. 25 times 100. 25 minus 25 4 times. This is 4. So this means 1.097 into 21. Is that right? Divided by 100 into 10 raised to 7. 100 goes to numerator as 10 raised to 5. 2 in the denominator minus 2 in the numerator. So this is 1.097 into 10 raised to 7 becomes 10 raised to 5. Is it right? 21 remains as it is into 21 into 10 raised to 5. So take the calculator or else you do like this. You want lambda equal to 1 divided by 1.097 into 21 into 10 raised to 5. So this becomes, I'll take the calculator and do this. Say this, 1.097 into 21 becomes 21 divided by 23.037. 10 raised to 5 goes to numerator as minus 5. Now 1 divided by 23.037 becomes 4.3408 into 10 raised to minus 5. Mistake it is. Once again I will do 1 divided by 23.037 equal to 0.0434 into 10 raised to minus 5. So if you want in the scientific notation, this becomes 4.34 into 10 raised to minus 7. If you want in nanometer, 434 into 10 raised to minus 9. 434 nanometers. It's not this. 434. 452. Is that correct? 750 to 400 nanometer. 434, nearly violet side it is. It's violet side, is it not? Not towards red side. So the wavelength we have calculated, it is 434 nanometer. Is it, do you agree? Now I want, the question is also having what, look here, frequency, correct? What is the frequency and wavelength? Now I want frequency. So to calculate the frequency, mu equal to c by lambda. So what is c? 3 into 10 raised to 8 divided by wavelength. I'll put in the meter in it. This is meter. 434. All these things are meter. I have some other value. 0.0434. 0.0434 into 10 raised to minus 5. So this is 3 divided by 0.0434. What is the value? 3 divided by 0.0434. This is 69.124. 69.124 into 10 raised to 8 plus 5, 13. Scientific notation 6.912. 10 time increase, 10 raised to 14 hertz. So this is a visible light and the frequency. So wavelength you have calculated, frequency also you have calculated. So please note this. This is how you can do problem on anything. One homework I will write. You can note this. One homework I will write. Second problem. Look here. Calculate the wave number. The wave number. 1 by lambda you should not write. New bar you write. Of spectral line due to electron transition from n equal to 3 to n equal to 1. Which spectrum it is? Lyman spectrum. Understand? 2 to 1, 3 to 1. Second line. in Lyman spectrum. N equal to 3 to n equal to 1. Calculate the wave number of a spectral line due to electron transition from n equal to 3 to n equal to 1. If you want, you can also find the wavelength. Find wavelength. First you find wavelength, then you find wave number. Remember, this will be in the ultraviolet region. So wavelength is less than 450. Remember, you may get 300 ray. So you do this. So unless you do, you will not understand. Okay. Now let us continue the right. One more problem I have solved, where energy is asked. Calculate the energy. Calculate the energy associated with the first orbit of He plus. Associated with the first orbit of He plus, that is helium, similar to hydrogen. What is the radius? What is the radius of it? It means what? Which orbit it is? First orbit. Correct, no? So what is the equation for energy? E first orbit, E1 is equal to minus 2.18 into 10 raised to minus 18 z square by n square. First you have to write the formula. Is this correct? So this is minus 2.18 into 10 raised to minus 18. Helium Z equal to 2. Z is equal to 2. Helium. N is equal to 1. So 2 square by 1 square. First orbit of helium. Now look here, minus 2.18 into 4 into 10 raised to minus 18 divided by 1 square is 1. So what is the value? So you use it with the help of calculator. You can calculate this. This is per electron, per single photon. So it is 2.18 into 4. So this is 8 minus 8.72 into 10 raised to minus 18 joules. Joules per energy of the photon which is emitted, per photon, single photon, per mole if it is asked what to tell me, multiply by Avogadro's number. Okay, this is the energy associated with an electron, photon. Now you have to find the radius, is it not? Radius. What is the formula for radius? Rn is equal to Rn is equal to 52.9 n square by z, if you have not forgotten, n square by z. So this is 52.9 n square, first orbit, 1 square by z is z square alva, z alva, z is less to 2i, 52.9 by 2. So 29.35. Right here. Okay, right here. R1 is equal to. So 59.52. So 52.9. 26.45 picometer. Unit you have to write. Picometer. This is the unit. Okay? Yes, so this is the important point to calculate. Now we shall go to the next concept, that is limitations of Bohr's model of atom. Okay, now let us discuss limitations of Bohr's model of atom. Write this. Limitations of Bohr's model of atom. Yes, look here. Even Bohr's model is not stable. It will not explain the stability of the atom correctly. Evidences are there. What are the limitations of Bohr's model of atom? So first point is, see, Bohr's theory is applicable to single electron system, or you can say hydrogen like system. What is that? Single electron system, hydrogen, He plus, Li2 plus, atomic number 1, 2, 3, Be3 plus, etc. Single electron system. Multi-electron, more than one electron, multi-electron system, or you can say spectrum, cannot be explained. This is so Bohr's theory is applicable to only single electron spectrum. So with multi-electrons, this is going to fail. Okay. Another drawback is this is again against the particle nature. See, what is this is a single spectral line. A single spectral line, when you observe in the electric field and magnetic field. What I told you, a single spectral line, when you observe in the electric and magnetic field, splits into 2 or 3 components. Remember how a single line comes? Due to electron transition from higher orbits to lower orbit. That should correspond to one spectral line. But what I told you? So it is going to split into 2 or 3 spectral lines. How each line can split into 2 or 3 lines? Which is not the particle nature. It is supporting the wave nature. So the quantized, discrete, discontinuous emission has been questioned now, questionable now, not supporting the quantized emission. So that is why another drawback has been observed, and this has been observed by Zeeman, and it is called Zeeman effect in the magnetic field. Stark effect, the splitting in the electric field is called Stark effect. Splitting in the magnetic field is called Zeeman effect. Splitting in the electric field is called Stark effect. So both I will write. Each spectral line splits into 2 or 3 components in the electric field. What it is called? Stark effect. What is Stark effect? Splitting of spectral line into 2 or 3 components in electric field. And in magnetic field, what is this called? Zeeman effect. Zeeman effect. What is Zeeman effect? Splitting of a spectral line into 2 or 3 components in the magnetic field is called Zeeman effect. So each spectral line splits into 2 or 3 components. This cannot be explained by Bohr's theory. This cannot be explained by Bohr's theory. Okay. Now one more point you can write like this. Circular orbits predicted by Bohr is unstable. Elliptical orbits predominates. What? Circular orbits predicted by Bohr is unstable. Elliptical orbits predominates. Circular orbits predicted by, this is called Sommerfeld model. Predicted. I told you even planetary motion is also elliptical. Predicted by, that is why seasons are created due to elliptical motion. Circular orbits predicted by Bohr is unstable and elliptical orbits predominates. Elliptical orbits predominates. So these are some of the limitations of Bohr's model of atom. And chemical bonding, formation of molecules, this also we can write, formation of molecules from atoms is not explained. It is not explained. Is not explained. That means bonding is not explained. It means bonding is not explained. So here these 2 points you remember, because in the examination they ask any 2 points, and I think this is all about Bohr's model of atom. Now, okay, listen here. When Bohr's theory also failed, what should happen? Different scientists started thinking about the atoms, and simultaneously by that time the wave nature is also having, rather than particle nature, started taking predominance. So, one such work has been done by a scientist, that is, I'll write here, look at this, de Broglie. I'll write a heading now, quantum mechanical model of atom. Quantum mechanical model of atom. Look here, so many scientists started developing their own explanations, but there is nothing called a model under somebody's name has been originated. After the Bohr's model, the latest model is Sommerfeld model only. There is nothing called atomic model, but some of the predictions are there by different scientists. See, 3 important people I am going to mention. One is de Broglie. The story behind the structure of atom is very interesting. Nothing is going to be asked in the examination from the point of view of examination. Very simple 2 mark questions are there, and the problem part of this, otherwise quantum mechanical model is not going to be questioned. De Broglie is one such person. Heisenberg is another important personality. Heisenberg. And one more very important person is Schrödinger. What is that? Schrödinger. So these 3 people, they have given a lot more contribution in the later part of Niels Bohr. What are the predictions and what is the final conclusion about? See, 2 things I should tell you. One is the distribution of the electrons around the nucleus with respect to its probability of finding the electron, its position. And another thing, its velocity. And another thing, its energy. See, all these calculations for a moving particle like electron, assuming particle nature is easy, assuming wave nature is further difficult. This man started telling both particle and wave nature. This is called dual nature of radiation. He supports. Heisenberg microscope was invented during the period of Heisenberg with the help of high resolving power microscope. using certain radiations. Try to understand through the microscope. He wanted to trace the electron. Invisible it is, but the radiation could detect the electron. He wanted to trace the position and momentum of the electron or velocity of the electron with exactness. Then what he says, I should tell you, Schrodinger, most famous work of Schrodinger. Schrodinger has developed a three-dimensional XYZ axis related, XYZ axis related probability of finding the electron around the nucleus. He has solved it's called Schrodinger wave equation. That equation has so many solutions with respect to energy, with respect to its velocity, with respect to positions. And so many solutions are acceptable and so many solutions are not acceptable. By that complicated mathematical equation, he wanted to define the position of the electron around the nucleus. See, whatever he says, we have to accept it. Remember, mega particles, bigger objects, we can trace with our eye. Definitely, we agree its position, agree its velocity, agree its momentum, anything. But I told you what is the size of the nucleus. Atom itself is invisible. So electrons, assuming wave nature and particle nature, we have to arrange its positions. It is always in a state of continuous motion. So is it that easy work? So quantum mechanics tells you so many things around the distribution of the electron waves. Many more period I will take. Understand? To convince later what happens, let us see at the end of the discussion of atomic models. So Schrodinger is another important personality. In the textbook, no much thing about Schrodinger is given. In the higher classes, for example in MSc, there is a derivation of the Schrodinger wave equation, 10 mark question. Very big equation, 3 page, 4 page it requires. That is not going to be discussed much in the PU level, but de Broglie's and Heisenberg's contributions I will discuss. Very simple, 2 mark questions. Problems are also there. So quantum mechanical model of atom, 3 important people I have mentioned here. The first one. de Broglie's contribution. De Broglie's matter waves. This is also under the heading dual nature of light or radiations. Look here. See, de Broglie is one of the very peculiar. His biography, if you read, you will understand. Very much not very intelligent person, but always used to question why this is like that, why that is like this. Heisenberg is his, his professor. So what de Broglie said is this. For the first time, de Broglie says, I think electron is a wave. The word I think electron is a wave. Till that, quantum mechanics was telling that particle nature they have predominated. So I think electron is a wave. This word has made a revolution in those days science for the discoverers of atomic structure. And he got encouragement from Heisenberg, and he continued that wave nature of the radiation. And he did only 2 works. He has not done anything. He combined 2 famous scientists' equations. See, look here, what he did, I will tell you. Einstein, E equal to mc square. Is it correct? This is supporting 100% particle nature. Mass is there for a particle. C is the velocity. You are all aware. E equal to mc square. According to Planck, again a particle nature. According to Planck, but this also supports dual nature. E equal to h nu. This is equation 2. Yes or no? Because nu is the frequency. Frequency is for radiation. So here there is, this is a definitely discontinuous emission. Particle nature we say, but there is a wavelength, because you can write E equal to h nu can be written as hc by lambda. You can write so nu equal to c by lambda. Do you agree? So equation 1 and equation 2 you club. Therefore both are mc square equal to h nu, mc square equal to hc by lambda. See what is happening? One c gets cancelled. I bring lambda here, h upon m into c. Yes, this is called de Broglie's equation. What is de Broglie's equation? Their equation. Lambda is equal to h upon m into c, or you can write c is the velocity. You can also write, what you can write, lambda is equal to h upon m into v. V is the velocity. Where m mass, v velocity. So mass is for a particle, wavelength is for a wave. So this is dual nature, and dual nature of light, or what is matter waves? Matter having both particle nature and wave nature is called matter waves. Alright, matter having both particle nature and wave nature is called matter waves, and this property is dual nature. Nothing is more than this, and this equation is very, very important. But you know what is momentum? What is momentum? I told you what is momentum. Mass into velocity, mv. Therefore lambda is equal to what? H upon p, where p is momentum. So this is the contribution of de Broglie towards the atomic model. So what contribution he gives here? The next development of Bohr's theory. See, the particle nature as well as wave nature, both have been clubbed here. So that is why you can calculate the wavelength for any electron. One problem I will work out so that this point can be made clear. One problem I will work out. You write this problem. Calculate what is the wavelength of a ball. Here one thing I want to tell you. Wavelength is inversely proportional to mass. Yes or no? As mass increases, wavelength decreases. That means wave nature decreases. Wavelength decreases means radio wave is a best wave. Gamma rays are the short waves. They are more like particle nature. Now you see, as wavelength decreases, mass increases, wavelength decreases. So as mass increases, particle nature predominates. As mass decreases, wave nature predominates. That you should know regarding mass. So one problem you write. What will be the wavelength of a ball? What will be the wavelength of a ball of mass 0.1 kg moving with velocity
ball is moving with velocity 10 meter per second. See, simple problem. What will be the wavelength? Yes or no? So lambda is equal to h upon mc. Planck's constant they give h equal to, given it is 6.626 into 10 raised to minus 34 joules into second. So write the things given, h equal to 6.626 into 10 raised to minus 34 joules into second. Mass SI unit 0.1 kg. See, what is the velocity? Moving with velocity 10 meter per second. Again it is in the SI unit. Now, E lambda is equal to h is 6.626 into 10 raised to minus 34 divided by m 0.1 into 10. Yes or no? 0.1 into 10 is 1. That means 6.626 into 10 raised to minus 34 meter. Do you agree? Because the wavelength is in meter. So this is how you can find the wavelength. Okay. Can you find the wavelength of an electron? Because for a ball you are thinking that it is wave nature. Matter waves. Every matter exists as waves. Suppose some very strong person, say we read in the mythology, very strong. For example, Vali, Sugriva and all, we read. Some giant name is someone is there, Dundubi or somebody. He comes and fights with Vali, and Vali kills him and holds him and rotates him like this, and throws him, which is passing through some Matanga Parvata or something, where some saint got angry and he cursed with something. If he comes there, he will die. Something like this. You read in story. Now think how that body is moving. It is moving in the form of wave nature. A bullet is, I will write one more problem. A bullet is fired from a gun of mass so and so, with velocity so and so. What is the wave nature? What is the nature? It is wave nature. See, bullet is moving straight only. Bullet is not moving like this. But the wavelength is small. How the bullet moves? Bullet straight it moves. Gun, from the gun, when you fire a bullet, say maybe some 10 grams. So what is the wavelength of the bullet? I will write it. A bullet of mass 10 gram, convert into kg, SI unit, 10 gram, is fired from a gun with a velocity, say 300 meter per second. 300 meter per second. Definitely it goes to 300 meter per second. Calculate wavelength associated with the bullet. Calculate the wavelength associated with the bullet. What should be given? Tell me. H equal to 6.626 into 10 raised to minus 34 joules into second. You do this one. Only thing, this gram you should convert into kg. 10 gram should convert into kg. I will work out the one more problem. I will work out the wavelength of electron. Shall I work out? Look here. The wavelength of electron. The mass of an electron is the mass of an electron is 9.1 into 10 raised to minus 31 kg. Yes, you know this, is it not? kg. Its kinetic energy is 3 into 10 raised to minus 25 joule. Its kinetic energy is 3 into 10 raised to minus 25 joule. Kinetic energy is given. Velocity is not given. Calculate its wavelength. Calculate its wavelength. So mass and wavelength we are what? Relating. H equal to 6.626 into 10 raised to minus 34 joules into second. Planck's constant. How to find velocity from kinetic energy? Kinetic energy is half mv square. Half mv square, and this is half mv square. Half mv square. So 2 into kinetic energy equal to mv square. V square equal to 2 into kinetic energy divided by m. 2 into V square root of 2 into kinetic energy divided by m. This you have to work out. So square root of 2 into what is kinetic energy? 3 into 10 to the power minus 25 divided by 9.1 into 10 raised to minus 31. See, there is a mistake we did. So in this part there is a mistake. Now you see V equal to 6 divided by 9.1 under root I will take 2 into 3 6. 6 divided by 9.8, is it correct? 9.1. 6 divided by 9.1. The answer is, so 0.6593 into minus 31 goes to numerator as plus 31, 10 raised to 6. So this could be 10 raised to 3 outside, okay, under the root. So now if you take the square root, okay, do one thing, 65 I will write, 65.9 into 10 to the power 10 times 8, sorry, 4, 10 times increase. 65, if you take the square root, what is the value? Square root of 65. 8 8 le 64 alva, 8 almost 8. 8 point something, 8.1, okay? Yes, 8.12 is the square root. Into 10 raised to 2, 4, 10 raised to 2. So 812 meter per second, students. So this is the way you have to, you made a mistake, sorry. Now the next part is lambda equal to h upon m into c. Now you have to apply this. 6.626 into 10 raised to minus 34 divided by 9.1 into 10 raised to minus 9.1 into 10 raised to minus what is the mass of the electron? 31 minus 31 into 3 velocity you have calculated, right? 812, and if you work out this 6.626 divided by 9.1 into 812, 9.1 into 812, this becomes 7389.2, 10 to the power minus plus 31 minus 3, no? Okay, then 6.626 divided by 7389.2, So answer is 0.000867 into 10 raised to minus 3. Now move the point. Minus 4, minus 5, minus 6, minus 7. 8.967 into 10 raised to minus 7 wavelength ms minus 1. So wavelength is increased now compared to the bullet and all. Yes, this is the answer. If you want nanometer, 896.7 nanometer. Yes, so this is all about de Broglie's hypothesis. Yes, now you see, so I have told you contribution of de Broglie and its related things. So what is the conclusion finally? Matter, every matter is associated with wave nature as well as particle nature. You can link the mass and the wavelength and how to calculate wavelength I have told you. Now one more concept you will see, Heisenberg's uncertainty principle. Heisenberg's uncertainty principle. So as the name itself indicates, Heisenberg's uncertainty principle. What is uncertain? Look here. See, what is the work done by Heisenberg is this. I think microscope has been invented during this time. So an electron is a moving particle. Understand? An electron is always in a state of continuous motion around the nucleus. Now you see, with the help of a powerful microscope, Heisenberg microscopic eye wants to detect the electron microscope in order to find two things. Position of the electron, because he has to trace the position. Is it at rest? Impossible. So he has to trace the position of the electron. Simultaneously, he wants to trace the velocity of the electron. Now I will tell you, look here. A bigger object, bigger particle, maybe a bus moving with so much speed. You can find its position and also you can find the velocity. You can assign the position simultaneously, you can find the velocity. But if some object is passing in front of you with a slow speed, some unknown object just passes in front of you. If you want to trace its position, here it is, error occurs actually. You are tracing it within some distance of error. Understand? Suppose if you want to measure its velocity simultaneously, that means what? At a time, both you are doing by the help of the microscope, then what will happen is, if you are more particular about the position, error in the velocity increases. If you are more particular about the velocity, error in the position increases. That is what was happening. If you want to minimize the error in the position, error in velocity increased. ಒಟ್ಟಿನಲ್ಲಿ ಹೇಳಬೇಕಂದ್ರೆ ಎರರ್ ಆಯಿತು. ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಇದೆ ಅಂತ ಟ್ರೇಸ್ ಮಾಡೋ ಹೊತ್ತಿಗೆ ಅದರಲ್ಲಿ ಹೋಯ್ತು. ಓಕೆ, ನಾನು ಒಂದು ಪೇಪರ್ನ ಥಿಕ್ನೆಸ್ ಬುಕ್ಕಲ್ಲಿ ಹೇಳ್ತಾರೆ, ಯು ವಾಂಟ್ ಟು ಮೆಜರ್ ದ ಥಿಕ್ನೆಸ್ ಆಫ್ ಎ ಪೇಪರ್. ನಿಮಗೆ ಮೀಟರ್ ಸ್ಕೇಲ್ ಕೊಡ್ತಾರೆ, ಹೆಂಗ್ ಮೆಜರ್ ಮಾಡ್ತೀರಿ? ಓಕೆ, ನ್ಯಾನೋಮೀಟರ್ ಸ್ಕೇಲ್ ಕೊಟ್ರೆ ಥಿಕ್ನೆಸ್ ಆಫ್ ಪೇಪರ್ನ ಮೆಜರ್ ಮಾಡಬಹುದು. ಅದು ನಿಮ್ ಕಣ್ಣಿಗೆ ಕಾಣಲ್ಲ. ಸೊ ಹ್ಯೂಮನ್ ಐ, ಆಕ್ಚುಲಿ ಹ್ಯೂಮನ್ ಐ ಇಸ್ ನಥಿಂಗ್. ನೋಡಿ, ತುಂಬಾ ಮ್ಯಾಗ್ನಿಫೈ ಮಾಡಿದಾಗ ಯಾವುದೋ ವಸ್ತುಗಳು ಕಾಣಬಹುದು. ಅವರ್ ಐಸ್ ಕ್ಯಾನ್ ಬಿ ಡಿಸೈಡ್ ದ ನೇಚರ್ ಅಕಾರ್ಡಿಂಗ್ ಟು ದ ವಿಷನ್ ಆಫ್ ಅವರ್ ಐ. Then whom after all we are? What is the capacity of our eye? We can see only big things. Suppose a small chalk piece. This is so. Can you see now? Capacity of our eye is that much. How many atoms are in this? Definitely 10 to the power 20 molecules are there, chalk molecules. Can you see each one molecule? You cannot see this itself, chalk powder. So our eye don't think is everything. That is why with respect to our eye, he wanted to define, or even microscopic eye, not our eye. With respect to even microscopic eye, he wanted to measure the position and velocity. Velocity multiplied by mass is called, or I will write momentum. But he could not. Then with difficulty, he says his principle, 2 mark question. State Heisenberg's uncertainty principle. Question will be asked. Statement. So what he says, it is impossible to determine both the position and velocity of a moving particle like electron simultaneously. It is impossible with accuracy to determine both position and momentum of a moving particle like electron with accuracy. This is Heisenberg's. I will write this. It is impossible. It is impossible to determine both position and velocity of a moving particle like electron simultaneously. This is Heisenberg's uncertainty principle. Okay. Suppose if you continue the process, what will happen? Error occurs. If it is measured, then what will happen? Error occurs. How much error occurs? Look here. Let delta x be error in position. Let delta v be error in velocity. ನೋಡಿ, ಇದು ವೆಲಾಸಿಟಿ ಅಲ್ಲ, ಪೊಸಿಷನ್ ಅಲ್ಲ. ಎಷ್ಟು ಎರರ್ ಆಗಿದೆ ಅಂತ, ಇಷ್ಟು ಎರರ್ ಆಗಿದೆ. 0.01 ನಿಂದ 0.009 ಅಷ್ಟು ಎರರ್ ಆಗಿದೆ, ಅಷ್ಟು ಡಿಸ್ಟೆನ್ಸ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ. ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ಹೇಳ್ಬೇಕು ನಾವು ಎಷ್ಟು ಎರರ್ ಇನ್ ದ ಪೊಸಿಷನ್ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ಬೇಕಾಗ್ತದೆ. ಸೊ ದೆನ್ ವಾಟ್ ಈಸ್ ದ ಎರರ್ ಇನ್ ಪೊಸಿಷನ್? ದೆನ್ what is Heisenberg's uncertainty principle? Delta x is not into delta v is greater than or equal to h upon 4 pi m. Correct ನೋಡಿ? ಇದಕ್ಕಿಂತ ಜಾಸ್ತಿನೇ ಹೊರತ ಕಡಿಮೆ ಅಲ್ಲ. It must be either more than this or at the minimum equal. ಏನು equal? Error in the velocity multiplied by error in the position is greater than h upon 4 pi m. ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಅರ್ಥ ಎಂತ? ಮಾಸ್ ಜಾಸ್ತಿ ಆದಂಗೂ ಎರರ್ ಕಮ್ಮಿ ಆಗ್ತದೆ, ಯಾಕಂದ್ರೆ ಮಾಸ್ ಡಿನಾಮಿನೇಟರ್. ಸೊ ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಈಗ ಎಚ್ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಏನು? ಪ್ಲಾಂಕ್ಸ್ ಕಾನ್ಸ್ಟೆಂಟ್. ಮತ್ತೆ ಎಂ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಇದು ಮಾಸ್. ಸೊ ಈಗ ಬಿಗ್ ಆಬ್ಜೆಕ್ಟ್ ತಗೊಂಡಾಗ ಎರರ್ ಕಡಿಮೆ ಆಗ್ತದೆ ಅಂತ. ಇಷ್ಟು ಮಿನಿಮಮ್ ಎರರ್ ಬರಲೇಬೇಕು. ಇಕ್ವೇಶನ್ 1 ಈಸ್ ಮ್ಯಾಥಮೆಟಿಕಲ್ ಫಾರ್ಮ್ ಆಫ್ ಅನ್ಸರ್ಟನಿಟಿ ಪ್ರಿನ್ಸಿಪಲ್. ಮತ್ತೆ ಇಲ್ಲೊಂದಿದೆ. ಈಗ ಎಂ ನ ಮಲ್ಟಿಪ್ಲೈ ಮಾಡಿದ್ರೆ ಏನಾಗುತ್ತೆ ವೆಲಾಸಿಟಿಗೆ? ಸಪೋಸ್ ಈಗ ಎಂ ಇಸ್ ಮಲ್ಟಿಪ್ಲೈಡ್ ಬೈ ವೆಲಾಸಿಟಿ, ಡೆಲ್ಟಾ ಎಕ್ಸ್ ಇಂಟು ಡೆಲ್ಟಾ ಪಿ ಅಂತ ಮಾಡ್ಕೋಬಹುದಾ? ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಡೆಲ್ಟಾ ವಿ ಇಂಟು ಎಂ ಮಾಡಿದ್ರೆ ಎಚ್ ಅಪಾನ್ 4 ಪೈ ಆಯಿತು. ಆರ್ ದೀಸ್ ಟು ಯು ಕ್ಯಾನ್ ಮಲ್ಟಿಪ್ಲೈ ಡೆಲ್ಟಾ ಎಕ್ಸ್ ಇಂಟು ಡೆಲ್ಟಾ ಪಿ. ಪಿ ಇಸ್ ಮೊಮೆಂಟಮ್, ಎಚ್ ಅಪಾನ್ 4 ಪೈ. This also you can write. Delta P is error in the position. So, problem on Heisenberg's uncertainty principle will work out tomorrow. Thank you.